Joe Biden. One of the three.
Well, purely for the algorithm, let's talk Joe.
So Joe Biden, the whole thing is, you know how Joe Biden recently launched these strikes on Syria, and
As he should.
it's weird how every president that comes in has to prove their authority by bombing some country.
Jesus.
Like, that's a requirement now. Trump, if you remember, did exactly the same. When he came in, he wanted to show how tough he was with ISIS. They dropped, I think, one of the biggest bombs aside from a nuclear bomb in Afghanistan. Yeah, you've forgotten about that. But that was the thing.
Didn't he just light up some fireworks for that dude they killed?
No. He dropped a big ass bomb. But to
Probably
Trump's credit,
while doing that was watching the 4th of July fireworks.
yeah.
Damn, I thought I would have read that. But, dude,
But
anyway.
but the point is, like, why is that a thing that how
So
how does
bizarre.
that make Joe Biden any different? In
True.
terms of his foreign policy, he's playing the
military
exact
industrial-
same
Is anybody
playbook.
guessing anything else? Of course, that was what was going to happen.
No, but then, like, there were a lot of these starry-eyed people that were saying, like, if we get rid of Trump, the world will be a better place.
Yeah, but-
And then there's, like,
That's because they're idiots.
and one of the biggest CNN point is the most refreshing thing about Joe Biden is having a president with empathy. Yeah,
military industrial complex has a lot of money.
it has
And
a
they
lot
got
of
a lot of bombs.
Oh,
they got
here's
trucks.
here's the other thing. Sorry, I want to get this could be a hot take, but do you know how Joe Biden has projected this image of, like, I am an empathetic man, and if you are fleeing violence anywhere in South America, you can come to the U.S. That had caused a huge problem because there's a lot of economic migrants and people that are genuinely facing troubles that are now moving towards the south of the border. And people over there are literally just like, we can't handle this many people. Which is why, you know, the whole thing
Dems.
about Trump keeping children in cages. They're still in cages, but with their parents now as well in those cages. Because the sheer number of migrants that have come to the southern border is just batshit crazy.
Damn, so
Why did
Trump
he
was
do
right.
that?
So Trump was right. It was like, what he's doing on the border is unbelievable. It's disgraceful.
I mean, it is a nice thing to do, but then when you've got someone that's favorable in the White House that is saying that I'm going to let people in, it makes a lot of people that weren't thinking of moving move. They're like, well, if we get a ticket to the U.S., then who hates
Didn't
that?
they learn this from Cuba?
Yeah. Reagan? Is that what you're talking about?
Tell the story, miss. Go on.
So Reagan, welcome. So Reagan, I mean, I'm sure you'll know about this, but from my
You're all
understanding,
acquainted with Miss Love, right?
yeah, how's it going?
Yeah.
How's it going? I didn't get fired.
He's one of the members, yep.
From my understanding, Reagan was like, I'm gonna show you commies all the way down there. What's his name? What was his name?
Fidel Castro.
That's right, Fidel Castro. I'm gonna-
He started the speech with, they say the great thing about figuring out which country's the best one to live in, just open up the borders and see where the people go. Well, today I'm going to open them up on Cuba, see if they want a nice slice of freedom pie.
And then Castro, being the boss he is, decided to send all the murderers, all the delinquents, all the rapists, all the druggos, and all the insane people.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yes, he did. I've seen Scarface.
It might have led a lot of people. That's true, but like most of the people that moved to Cuba were part of the upper class that really suffered because all of their shit was taken by Castro.
No, they might have left as well, but I know for a fact that Fidel was sitting there just being like, just release everybody in jail. Just put them on a bathtub, put them out. Because he said, this is one of his most famous quotes in history, I have flushed the toilets of Cuba.
Oh my!
I'm aware of that, but that was
That's a funny.
There's a lot of optics in that too. And when he's, let's say you're Fidel Castro and you've just taken over Cuba, and Ronald Reagan has said anyone that's welcome to Cuba, and you see a lot of people leaving your country. The best optic spin is, well, there are rapists that were going, so yay. Because you don't want to say, well, don't go, stay. Like, come on, this is going to be a good country. You don't want to be on that side.
But come on. It was so controversial then when Trump was just being like, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, and some, I assume, are good people. He was bang on about what happened in Cuba.
That's true.
Maybe I'll rephrase
He was the common
this.
sense man. We let him go. What were you thinking?
Well, look, there's no way to salvage this because I know that particularly Miss Love has a very strong opinion on this topic. But I was gonna say maybe I'm framing the question wrong. Maybe instead of saying it's causing a problem on the borders, I could say, well, maybe it's time for U.S. to have a big ass, massive immigrant intake, just like they did when Ronald Reagan was there and a bunch of Cubans came in.
Or maybe not.
These are all options.
It's just a numbers game, isn't it? Like,
It is causing problems. Like, because of pandemic, my friend was telling me this. Because of the pandemic in Australia, usually we get, 150,000 migrants come in every year to Australia. Last year, during the 2020, we had 110. What that's meant is that there is a huge demand in all or corporate organizations for people that can do coding, that can do that. So we don't realize, and it's driven up the cost by a huge margin. So people that were getting paid $60,000 a year salary are now getting offered $100,000 a year salary because there haven't been that many immigrants that have come in to do those jobs. So we almost sometimes forget how critical these immigrants can be in filling in key positions.
All right, that's enough of you trying to convince me of Big Australia for one episode. Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today.
Slipping that in there.
Trying to get that in. Fuck. Shameless.
Globalist is here.
You are a globalist, dude.
Yeah.
Alex Jones warned me about you.
He warned us about plastics too, and that make us drink smaller. So he's.
Why are
on
you
point
listening
there.
to this podcast?